If you've said these words about your John Deere tractor, my tractor only runs when I have the choke pulled halfway out, then it might be time for a carburetor rebuild. You can pull out these pins for both your choke here and your throttle back there, and then your throttle will come off. Your throttle may look a little bit different on your carburetor depending on if you're working on an earlier carburetor, but you still need to take that linkage off to free up the carburetor. I have my fuel line here, and you can put a smaller wrench behind it, mine's 9/16, to hold that in place and then loosen up your fuel line here. You can see that mine's leaking pretty bad. I think that I need a new sediment bowl, but we'll take it off for right now. Got a pan underneath there to catch the fuel that's leaking down like that, and then you'll take these 4 bolts here and 4 bolts there off. Just a tip, if you use a short wrench, they should come a little bit easier for you. With the carburetor off of the tractor, you can begin the disassembly. There are 4 screws here on the throttle end, which you'll need to remove, and then you can move that up, pull your butterflies out, and then your whole entire shaft will pull out from the side. You'll follow that same procedure on the opposite end for the choke here, the 4 screws, pull them out. But on this end, you do have a screw right here with a spring on the back, and then when you pull the shaft out, there will be another spring behind here. On the bottom, you can take the bowl off. This is your main jet here, which you can, your power jet, which you can take off. Both of your idle screws can come out. On the side here, we have the filter for the fuel filter there, so that can come out, and your plug here as well. Just go ahead and disassemble that whole entire carburetor. I got all those pieces off of my carburetor. We're going to do some further disassembly here underneath the bowl. If your power jet comes out in one piece, that's really good, but every once in a while this tip will stay in the carburetor and then your new power jet won't go in. So make sure that that comes out either as all one assembly or 2 assemblies, but you get it all out. Underneath here we have 2 plugs, which I will take off. Underneath those plugs are 2 nozzles. Take this plug off, and then I'll show you what that nozzle looks like underneath there. These are brass and they're really tight, hard to get out, so be careful. I'll pull that nozzle completely out. You can do the same for the plug and nozzle that are back here. It looks exactly the same as this one. You get that out all the way. There we go, okay. Underneath here we have our float. This just the pin pulls off and then the float will come out. Definitely want to consider replacing your float. Modern fuel is so rough on those floats. Here's your needle, and then your seat will come out as well. On rare occasion, you'll need to go a step further in cleaning your carburetor. These 2 passageways right here can sometimes get really clogged down there. Most of the time, you'll be able to just spray some carburetor cleaner through there, get the nozzle from your carburetor cleaner, and the carburetor fluid will come out and you'll be able to clean your carburetor. However, if it is really plugged, your carburetor will never run right. So if that's the case on yours, you can drill a small hole up here through the top, kind of on an angle, then use a punch to drive that ball out, and then you can clean the passageway underneath there. And then when you have that clean, you can use a drill or a wire to clean it. Then put some JB weld back to cover up your hole. Make sure that you drill out any excess JB weld that got in there. Put your ball back in and assemble it all back together. Let me make sure that you understand that that's only something you need to do on rare occasion when it's really plugged. If you are an extremely competent mechanic and you have the confidence to do that, then go for it. If not, just clean it with carburetor cleaner and move on. You can take out both of your smaller power jets here. These are brass, but they will come out, and you'll get 2 new ones in your comprehensive kit so that you can replace them. You can take all of your soft plugs out by pounding a screwdriver through the plug and then prying it out. You got one big one here, a smaller one there, and then each side here and there. Take all 4 of those soft plugs out. You'll need to remove and replace your throttle bushing. You can do so with a drill. This is a 13/32 size drill bit. You'll want to use that size as well. And you can put your drill in here, spin it around, and then pull your bushing out. This is a blind hole, so you cannot just drive with a punch your bushing through and have it come out. It won't come out. It stops in there and drives in there flush. So you have to get it out with a drill bit in this manner. There we go. Got our bushing out just like that. You'll want to follow that same step both on this side and the other side. Cleaning your carburetor is absolutely essential when you rebuild it. It's not enough to just put brand new parts in. You have to take time and make sure that it's really clean. There are a bunch of passageways throughout your carburetor which you can use carburetor cleaner to spray through, and I'll show those passageways to you. Make sure that you do wear safety glasses when you spray so that you don't get it in your eyes. So first you see the one hole down here which you'll squirt in there. You'll see that carburetor cleaner comes out down the bottom, and it also comes out through here. So you can spray and then watch and make sure that it comes all the way through. You do have another hole right here. I can get my nozzle in there. You're going to see it come out the side here, and then you can put your finger over the side and see that it comes straight through. Those holes, these two, do those same steps on this side as well to clean up those passageways. Notice that there are 2 passageways on each barrel inside here. These 2 are really clean. That's how yours should look. But on this side, I definitely have one that's plugged. You can use a small piece of wire like this to drive it down into the passageway and clean that out. Then once you have it cleaned out with wire, put your carburetor nozzle down in there, spray those passageways out, make sure that they're really clean before you reassemble. For your idle passageways, you want to spray carburetor cleaner, see that it comes out the hole in the top here. You can put your finger over it and make sure that it comes out both of the holes in the bottom of your carburetor there. Got one more passageway here which will spray out the top like that. Make sure that you do passageways on both sides and all throughout your carburetor. After you spray them with carburetor cleaner, you can follow with a blow-off nozzle so that you dry it out and drive all that dirt out of your carburetor. I normally will use a whole entire can of carburetor cleaner on the carburetor and do those passageways 2 or 3 times before I'm ready to reassemble. When you are ready to rebuild your carburetor, you're going to need some parts. Let me roll through the options that are available to you so that they really make sense. The first option is a really affordable kit here. This is the economy kit, which comes with new gaskets, a needle and seat. There's times when that's all your carburetor needs, but there's also times when your carburetor does need a complete rebuild like we're showing you how to use on this video. All these parts come in the comprehensive kit, but don't be intimidated by them because we're going to show you how to put every single part in. You get new emulsion tubes. This is your adjustment for your fuel. These are worn out a lot. We got a new gasket here, or filter here at the bottom, all new gaskets. We got new soft plugs. Here we have the choke and throttle shafts that are brand new, new needle and seat, gaskets. Everything is included in this comprehensive kit except for the float. The float is a separate purchase, and you could buy this float even if you go the comprehensive route or if you go the economy route. Another option, if you have had fuel setting in the bottom of your bowl for a long time, it might have corroded a little bit, so you can buy a brand new bowl like this. We also offer a new sediment bowl assembly that comes all set, ready to go on the tractor. This has that automatic fuel shutoff that was so popular on those John Deere tractors that John Deere made. Here we have the new fuel line. The ends are sweated on. You got your fittings on there. It's all ready to go. This is a lot easier than trying to make a new fuel line and getting your fittings to match just correctly. So if you need a new fuel line, consider buying this one that's just ready to go on your tractor. You can purchase those parts at farmtractorrepair.com. Your purchase on my site helps to fund future tractor tutorials. Before you order parts, you need to know what model number carburetor you have. Look for a brass tag like this. Mine says DLTX 99. Yours will say a different number or the same. This is a small bore carburetor, which is on John Deere 50, 520, and 530 tractors. But these techniques for a duplex carburetor does apply whether you're working on a 60, 620, 630, a 70, 720, or 730 tractor. Your new comprehensive kit does come with a new throttle shaft, but you need to reuse your linkage and spring here that's on the end. Just follow the same pattern when you take it off of your old shaft. Make sure that your spring is wrapped around here and that there's pressure here that controls your idle on your tractor. So it's really crucial that you get it back in the right position. Your pin drops through from the other side and then you secure it with that cotter pin. In here, I have my new bushing driven in and it fits into the shaft well. I'm going to drop this in there. You can use a punch to drive your bushing in. If you mushroom it over, you might need to use a reamer to make sure that that's the right size. So do that, do those steps, put your shaft in. Then once you have that set, you can turn this up and put both of your butterflies in. These are directional. See how it has the number on the one side? The number comes up to the top so that you can read it. Then you can drop those in there. You can move your shaft as you need to get those started. Use a punch if you need to line up those holes, and also a self-starting screwdriver on the screws will really help you get those butterflies in. I'm putting a little bit of silicone around the end of my soft plugs here just to make sure that it's a good seal. You can use any color silicone that you have. Set that in there, and then you can use a ball peen hammer, 2 of them, to set that on there, and then drive it in. When you whack this with the ball peen hammer, you're just kind of making it spread out so that it fits in there well. You can follow that same procedure with your other 3 soft plugs as well. We have a new choke shaft which will just slide in like so with the flat side to the top. Let me tilt that so you can see the flat sides to the top. Then you're going to put your spring on the end. Notice how it kind of has that U. That U is going to wrap around on here like so, comes around the bottom of the shaft. And then I'm going to pull this spring. It's just going to extend past there a little bit. On the end of this cap, there's that little triangle, and that triangle is going to slide in between the T on the choke shaft and that spring. That triangle is going to slide right there when I put it on. I wanted to show you that before I put this cap on, because once I put that there, you can't see it anymore. So that just rests on there, and I still can see the flat side. That's how it should be. Next, we're going to put this spring on, or this screw on here. We have a new spring, a new washer. Then we have this beveled washer here. The bevel is going to come in, the bevel side is going to go like that. And then that screw will just screw in like so. I'll tighten that up. Then we have the butterflies here. You can see that there's a T that stands for the top. So you'll put those in there, use your self-starting screwdriver, and put those 4 screws in there, just like you did on the other side. I have a brand new seat with the gasket underneath it ready to drop in. You can do the same. Just get that started and then make sure that you tighten it up all of the way before you put your float on. Next, you can put your float in. You'll see that the little holder for the needle is there. It's on the side. And then you can drop your needle in there. Oops. Let me try that again. Put your holder on the side, and then drop your needle in there like so. And then with it kind of dangling like that, you can feed it through here and drop your needle in like that. And then you have a new pin which will hold your float into place. To set your float, you want it to be 3/4 of an inch from the top of the float to the top here. You can measure with a ruler. I'm at 3/4 of an inch right now, but I was at 1 inch just a minute ago. When you need to raise or lower your float, you can take a screwdriver and just bend it here, just ever so slightly, a little bit at a time. Make that adjustment to 3/4 of an inch. I have 2 new nozzles ready to go in. There's a small gasket that's on the end. I turn the carburetor this way so that if I drop those in there, the gaskets stay on the end of the nozzle rather than coming off. I'll tighten it up with a screwdriver. Once I have that tightened all the way like I have on this side, then you can put your caps on the top. Again, there's a small gasket there. I'll screw those in, and also both of these little jet plugs here can go in as well. I would recommend putting just a drip of oil on this O-ring before dropping your main jet into the carburetor here. You can tighten this all the way down until it stops and then back it out 2 turns. I'm keeping my old gasket on here. In my opinion, the bowl will set on there better if you have that old gasket underneath and your new one on top, and your kit doesn't come with enough new gaskets. I have my new bowl, I have the drain there, and then I'll just tighten it up like so. You have 2 brand new idle screws with a spring that you can insert. I like to screw them all the way down and then back out 1.5 turns. This new fuel strainer assembly with the gasket will just screw into here, and you can tighten that up with a wrench. Here you have your new hookup for the fuel line. Again, you'll tighten that up with a wrench. And then back here you have this plug. I'm getting to the end of my parts here, and I did notice that I had a new screw for right here. I didn't use it earlier, but make sure that you use your new screw. At this point, we are ready to put the carburetor onto the tractor. I have new gaskets here, and of course my surface is cleaned up so it's ready for the new gasket. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt it onto the tractor, and then I'll show you how to make those last fine-tuning adjustments. Our tractor runs really nice. Let me step down and we'll show you a little bit about the idle adjustment here. If you want to make any adjustments to your idle, you would do so with this screw. You can just move that in a little bit. I'm talking like half a turn at a time, and make adjustments to your idle. All of your other adjustments should be fine. When you made the idle adjustment and your main power jet, those should be fine at that 1.5 and 2.5 turn points. The only adjustment that you might need to make would be right here on your idle. You can just play with it a little bit until it runs nicely how you want it to idle and run on your tractor. I hope that this tutorial is helpful to you, and that now you have the confidence to rebuild the duplex carburetor on your tractor. When you're ready to buy parts, please purchase them at farmtractorrepair.com.